Assalamualaikum and hi. So in this video, we are going to enter a new subtopic 5.3 from chapter 5, Self-Inductance. There are two learning objectives in this subtopic: to define the self-inductance and to apply the self-inductance in a coil and also solenoid. Okay, basically what is self-inductance? Okay, you are trying to induce EMF and also current in the circuit by yourself. Contohnya, you already have a circuit which has current flow in the circuit connected to the battery. Lepas tu, kita cuba induce current dan juga EMF yang baru dalam kita punya circuit. This is what it is all about lah, roughly. So, consider a solenoid which is connected to a battery, a switch S, and a variable resistance R forming an open circuit as shown in figure below. So what we have here, this is the battery, switch, and also variable resistance, di mana you can vary the value of resistance that you're going to use. You connect in the solenoid. Okay, kalau kamu tengok dekat solenoid kamu ini adalah bahagian depan solenoid, and whatever goes behind there, dekat dari itu adalah bahagian belakang lah. Okay, so when the switch S is closed, maksudnya kita switch on, kita tutup dia. So the current begins to flow in the solenoid, and we know the current will flow in such a way that dia akan flow daripada positive terminal to the negative terminal. So this is the direction of current. Current akan pergi. And as you can see, the current has to go up in this wire. Dia kena naik atas. But as you can see in this diagram here, the wire is going to turn behind and come forward. Okay, lilitan dia seolah-olah dia dari belakang, dia pusing, dia datang ke depan. So the flow of your current has to flow this wire. So it is going to go up from the back of the solenoid and come down in front of the solenoid. Okay, so awak imagine you are holding your pencil. Ambil pencil kamu adalah solenoid sekarang. And then pastikan tangan kamu ini, fingers, all these 4 fingers has to go up from the back of the solenoid, iaitu di belakang pensel kamu, supaya itu adalah arah current naik. Current akan naik dari belakang, kamu lilit dekat belakang, kamu pusing, kamu turun ke depan. So all your fingers has to curl in front of the pencil. So awak akan dapat direction current kamu turun ke bawah. Okay, so kita akan ada current yang coming down in the solenoid here. Okay, so lepas tu bila dia sampai ke wire yang akhir, dia turun, dia akan sambung perjalanan dia sampailah dia sampai ke wire, negative terminal ini. So this is the direction of current, initial current in the solenoid due to the resistance yang kita pilih dekat sini dan juga power supply. Power supply kita panggil dia EMF lah kan. Okay, so the current produces a magnetic field whose field lines through the solenoid. So kita akan ada magnetic field being produced dekat sini according to your chapter 4. When you have current in a conductor, you can produce magnetic field. So using your right hand grip rule, okay, right hand grip rule, ambil pensel tadi, kita pegang pensel tadi tu. Bila kamu nak pegang pensel itu, use your fingers to hold them. And then make sure all the 4 fingers has to curl down in front of the pencil. At that particular point, awak akan nampak bila awak tengah lilit pensel kamu tu, 4 jari kamu point ke bawah di hadapan pensel. Your thumb is going to point to the right kamu. So ini akan jadi kamu punya north pole, indicating your direction of magnetic field. So ini north pole, ini south pole, maka kita akan ada magnetic field line to the right. Ini adalah B kita. Ini kita panggil B external lah. Alright, B in the solenoid, kita panggil dia B external. Okay, so you have B to the right, current flowing in front of the solenoid. And this B now, B ni akan generate the magnetic flux linkage, because magnetic flux linkage adalah NBA cos theta. So bila ada B, akan ada flux linkage. If the resistance of the variable resistance reduce, okay, let's say kita kurang nilai resistance ini, thus the current flow in the solenoid akan increase. Okay, how does decreasing the resistance can increase the solenoid? Kita guna Ohm's law dekat sini. According to this equation, I is inversely proportional to the resistance. So when you decrease the R berkurang, I akan increase. So at this particular point, when the I increases, then so too does the magnetic flux linkage. Macam mana does increasing the current in the solenoid leads to increase in the flux linkage? Okay, this one kita kena tengok kepada equation of magnetic field in the solenoid, where magnetic field in the solenoid adalah mu naught Ni over L. So when you increase your I, your B akan increase because they are directly proportional. So at this particular point, bila kita decrease R, I increase, B akan increase juga. So when your B increase, your flux pula akan sama dengan BA cos theta. So when your B increase, your flux will increase as well as they are directly proportional. So dekat sini kita akan ada flux kita pun akan increase daripada initial flux tadi. Initially you had satu nilai I, kamu produce B, bila dah produce B, kamu akan dapatkan flux linkage. Betul tak? Dapat flux linkage, dah ada value. And then what happen? You change your R, I berubah, kita akan dapat B yang baru, maka kita akan ada flux pun berubah. Your flux linkage is going to change, which is going to lead to the induction of EMF, because Faraday stated that, according to the Faraday's law, since the magnetic flux changes, an EMF has to be induced in the solenoid itself. So walaupun kita dah ada EMF, tapi disebabkan oleh berlakunya perubahan dalam flux kita berubah. Okay, flux kamu meningkat daripada tadi. Therefore, you are going to induce another EMF. Okay, in accordance with Lenz's law, the induced EMF opposes the changes of the flux. So, EMF yang kita akan induce ini, dia akan cuba oppose these changes. Okay, this is called the self-induction. Okay, ini adalah proses of the self-induction sebab dia akan cuba oppose that changes in the flux. Indirectly, dia akan leads to the production of EMF. So, ini kita panggil process of self-induction. Okay, faham? This is how you're going to induce the EMF in yourself. Okay, apa direction induce EMF dan juga direction of current yang kita akan induce disebabkan oleh B kita, R kita berubah dekat sini. So, what is going to happen adalah, when your I increases, when your current increase lah, untuk kes yang pertama ni lah, when you reduce your resistance, I akan increase. So, kita ambil referral ini, kita letak dekat sini. So, you know, when your R decrease, I akan increase, B increase, flux pun akan increase. Okay, so what is going to happen here adalah, kita akan relate dengan table yang kita ingat. If you remember, when your flux increase, B yang kita akan induce, okay, dalam 5.2 kita ada belajar, bila flux berubah such as increase, decrease atau remain the same, B induce kita ada direction based on those changes. So B induce kita akan opposite to the B external. B external kita siapa? B yang tadi kita dapat ini. This is your B external, which is pointing to the right. North pole duduk sini, south pole duduk sini. So the same case lah, kita lukis balik bahagian atas of the solenoid. You have your north pole, south pole, this is your B external, and you have your direction of current dari belakang solenoid naik turun di hadapan solenoid, and then it goes down here. So let's say kalau saya sambung, I'm going to continue. So ini adalah saya punya EMF asal, betul? So sekarang kita nak tengok apa jadi kepada direction of induced EMF ini. Okay, what is going to happen to the direction of induced EMF? Okay, because kita tahu EMF akan being induced as EMF is directly proportional to the change in the flux. Okay, so B induced kita kena opposite to B external. Since B external is pointing to the right, B induced saya kena point to the left. So saya nak guna hijau untuk tunjuk this is my B induced. So north pole saya akan duduk sini, south pole saya akan duduk sini. So this is my B induced. So now using your right hand grip rule, bila kita dah induce B, kita ada new point of north pole. So sekarang your thumb has to point to the left pula. Thumb has to point to the left, and then ambil pensel lagi sekali, pegang pensel kamu, pastikan thumb kamu tengah point ke kiri. Bila dah point ke kiri, awak cuba pegang pensel itu. When you hold the pencil, your fingers is going to curl. Dia akan curl ke atas di hadapan pensel dan turun ke bawah di belakang pensel. I repeat myself. Your thumb is pointing to the left, and then bila awak nak pegang pensel menggunakan 4 jari kamu ni, kamu akan nampak kamu punya pensel ini dipegang in such a way that your fingers ni, empat-empat jari ni akan curl di hadapan pensel ke atas dan dia turun ke bawah di belakang pensel. That is how you can grip this pencil, betul tak? So that is also the direction of current, di mana current akan naik di hadapan solenoid dan dia akan turun, which is opposite to direction yang tadi. Okay, so sekarang current kita akan naik atas di hadapan solenoid. So for it to goes up in front, goes up di hadapan solenoid, apa yang kena jadi adalah dia kena naik dekat sini. Okay, dekat depan ni dia kena naik. Baru dia boleh pusing, turun ke bawah, and then dekat depan ni boleh naik balik. Okay, so therefore this indicates that your current has to goes up here. So untuk current keluar di sini, bahagian sini, induced EMF kamu kena ada positive terminal, negatif, positif, negatif. Maksudnya direction of induced EMF kamu kena ke kiri. Okay, so the direction of induced EMF has to be to the left daripada tadi. Kalau tadi current keluar daripada kaki positif ke kanan, betul tak? Okay, itu adalah direction of current asal. Sekarang kamu punya current has to go flow ke atas di hadapan solenoid, turun, pusing, naik balik atas, turun, pusing, naik balik atas, naik, 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 and then dia kena turun dekat belakang ni, come back to the terminal, betul? Therefore, this indicates that the induced EMF kamu opposite daripada EMF yang asal. Okay, they are moving in the opposite direction, which means that untuk current keluar dekat sini, this green color, it has to have a positive begini. So, current kita akan keluar ke kiri untuk induced EMF. So, ini adalah induced current kamu. This would be your induced current here. So, as you can see, direction of the induced EMF is in the opposite direction of the current. Current yang dia tengah refer dekat sini adalah current asal. Sebab dia tak cakap pun induced current, okay? Dia kata opposite to the direction of current. So, as you can see, induced EMF has to give the current out to the left. Okay, dia bagi current ke kiri. However, current asal kamu ini tengah bergerak ke kanan. Dia akan bergerak ke kanan daripada EMF asal, naik ke atas, pusing, pusing, turun, pusing, turun, pusing, turun, pusing, turun, pusing, turun, pusing, turun, supaya dia boleh turun dekat sini. Okay, so you compare the green color and the red color. Red color adalah the initial one. So the initial current is going up. So for it to go up at this particular point, dia kena keluar daripada sini. So however, induced EMF kamu tengah bagi current in the opposite direction. So itu maksud dia induced EMF is opposite to the direction of current yang asal. So I asal dengan I induced opposite sebab ini dua sama lah kan. Alright. Okay, let's say kalau your current decrease. For the case of your current decrease, okay, kita sambung dulu kita punya bateri. Case asal kita ada EMF kita daripada kanan current keluar. Okay, ada variable resistance dekat sini. It goes here. So your current has to go in this direction, betul? Baru dia akan keluar dekat positif, masuk dekat negatif. Okay. For the case of current decrease, I decrease since R and I are inversely proportional. Sorry. For the case of I decrease, macam mana I boleh decrease adalah you have to increase the resistance. Untuk kurangkan I, you have to increase the resistance. R increase leads to I decrease because they are inversely proportional. Bila I decrease, B akan decrease because they are directly proportional. Therefore leads to flux pun berkurang as they are directly proportional according to their equation. So bila flux berkurang pula, according to the table dalam 5.2, when your flux changes, itu berkurang, your flux decrease, B induced kamu akan same direction dengan B external kamu. As you can see, your B external is pointing to the right. Okay, dia tengah point ke kanan, point towards the north pole. Therefore, kamu punya B induced pun kena point on the same direction. Therefore, north pole to the right, south pole on the left. So, kamu akan ada your thumb pointing to the right gini. After you have deduced the direction of B induced, this is your B induced, you're going to use your right hand grip rule. Make sure your thumb is going to point to the right and then you're going to grip your pencil. to show that the direction of current induced kali ini adalah ke bawah di hadapan pensel, betul? When it is downwards of the pencil. Now, sama juga untuk solenoid kamu. Kamu tengah grip, pusing di belakang, turun di hadapan. So, the direction of current induced is the same as the initial direction of the current. Sebab initial direction of current, yang color merah tu dia turun ke bawah di hadapan solenoid. Dalam kes ni, I induced kamu pun turun ke bawah di hadapan solenoid. So, it is going to go down begini. So, ini adalah direction of I induced. So, in this case, when your I decrease, I induced kamu is in the same direction as your I asal, which gives you that, ataupun gives an information that kamu punya EMF induced kamu pun mempunyai kaki negatif, positif, so that the current induced boleh keluar dekat sini, masuk dekat sini, which tells you that the direction, okay, baca yang ni, the direction of induced EMF is in the same direction as the current. So, induced EMF kamu sama je direction dengan current yang asal sebab I dan I induce same direction. If you remember, the direction of EMF daripada kaki negatif ke kaki positif. This is the direction of EMF. Current pula akan keluar daripada positive plate. Okay, so current and EMF, they have the same direction always. So, for the case of I increase, I asal kamu, okay, I asal kamu dengan I induce kamu tidak sama arah. Okay, as you can see, kita tengok dekat bahagian depan ni je lah. I asal turun ke bawah, I induce naik ke atas. So, they are opposite to each other. Same goes to your EMF lah. So, bila I dah opposite, EMF akan opposite jugalah dengan I yang asal. Okay, so kita dekat sini akan cakap in terms of induced EMF dengan current yang initial. If your I decrease pula, they are going to have the same direction. EMF induced, same direction as your current yang asal. This process is known as self-inductance. Self-inductance is defined as the process of producing an induced EMF in the coil due to the change of current flowing through the same coil. So, dalam coil yang sama ini, kita tak tukar coil lain tadi, masih coil yang sama. Apa yang kamu buat adalah you vary the resistance. When you vary the resistance, there is possibility whether your I akan increase ataupun decrease depending on how you vary the R. Kalau kita increase R, I akan turun. Kalau kita decrease R, I akan naik. Okay, so this is going to lead to the change in the current. So, when there is change in the current flowing through the same coil, you are going to induce the EMF. This is self-induction. Okay, now, self-induction is defined as the process of producing an induced EMF in the coil due to the change of the current flowing through the same coil. Definition yang sama So, ini adalah dia punya proses. Okay, dia kata is defined as the process of producing blah blah blah. Okay, ataupun self-inductance. Self-inductance, self-induction, dua benda yang berbeza. Self-inductance is defined as the ratio of the self-inducted EMF to the rate change of the current in the coil. Okay, self-inductance, kita guna simbol L, is equals to the ratio of the self-induced EMF. Okay, EMF yang kita induce ini self-induced EMF EMF induced to the rate change of the current, dI over dt, rate change of the current. Ini kita panggil dia self-inductance, TANCE. Self-induction adalah process of producing. Yang tadi kita explain banyak dekat atas tu adalah proses macam mana kita nak induce that EMF. So, kita panggil dia self-induction. Okay, inductance pula kita nak kira berapa yang kita induce itu. Okay, you're going to calculate the ratio of EMF yang kamu akan induce for the change of the current dekat sini. Okay, so let's say now for coil of n turns, kita akan ada EMF is equal to negative n d flux over dt. Okay, this is according to Faraday's and Lenz's law. Okay, if you were to rearrange this equation, kamu akan dapat EMF dekat sini akan sama dengan negative L di over dt. Kamu rearrange equation ini, jadikan EMF sebagai subjek, bawa di over dt ke sini lah kan. Alright, so this is also induced EMF, this is also induced EMF. Okay, ini kita belajar berdasarkan pemahaman daripada Faraday's dengan Lenz law. Ini pula what happens in the self-induction process. Okay, so when you equate these two, sebab dua-dua membawa maksud yang sama, when you equate these two, you're going to get L is equals to N flux over I. L is equals to N flux over I dekat sini. Okay, L ini adalah self-inductance. Okay, L adalah self-inductance. Self-inductance. Okay, L adalah self-inductance, N adalah number of turn, V adalah flux dekat sini, I adalah current. Okay, self-inductance ini is a scalar quantity with the unit of Henry. Okay, it has a unit conversion of 1 Henry is equals to 1 Weber per ampere ataupun 1 Tesla meter square per ampere. The value of self-inductance, TANCE, L kamu ni depends on the size and the shape of the coil, the number of the turn and the permeability of the medium in the coil. So, ini adalah faktor-faktor yang akan affect kamu punya self-inductance. Size and shape, ini akan leads to area kamu, number of turns dan juga permeability of the medium in the coil, mu kamu dekat sini. A circuit element which possesses mainly self-inductance is known as inductor. It is used to store energy in the form of magnetic field. So, dalam circuit kita boleh ada inductor. Function inductor adalah to store energy in the form of magnetic field. The symbol of inductor in the electrical circuit is given as, ini adalah simbol inductor. Okay, kalau resistance kita guna simbol begini, inductor pula kita guna simbol begini. This is inductor, this is resistor. Okay, resistor resist the current flow. Inductor pula store the energy in the form of magnetic field. Okay, you can have self-inductance in a solenoid, case yang tadi kita bincang, ataupun dalam coil pun boleh jadi juga. You can have current, di mana kamu ada coil dekat sini, this is your coil. You connect your coil to a battery dekat sini. Awak connect dia dekat battery, dia akan ada variable resistance. Okay, awak akan menyebabkan current flow in the circuit. Okay, current akan flow naik ke atas. And then, awak tentukan direction of B external dulu. Okay, lepas tu awak vary the resistance. You vary the resistance, you are going to change the value of the current. I berubah, B berubah, B berubah, flux berubah. So, when your flux changes, identify the increase atau decrease. Deduce the direction of B induced. And then you can get I induced, and then kita boleh dapatkan direction of EMF. Konsep dia sama saja untuk kita induce EMF dalam coil. Sama macam kita buat untuk solenoid. So basically dekat sini sekarang kita nak tengok how do you find the value of that self-inductance. So for that kita tengok untuk solenoid dulu. The magnetic flux density at the center of the air core solenoid is given as B is equals to mu naught and I over L. Ini equation chapter 4 kita dah belajar. Magnetic field of a solenoid. The magnetic flux passing through each turn of the solenoid always a maximum. Okay, and it is given as flux is equals to BA cos theta. So, tempat B ni kita substitute mu naught Ni over L darab dengan area kamu. So, you will end up with your flux in a solenoid becomes mu naught Nia over L. Okay. And self-inductance pula tadi kita cakap, self-inductance was N flux over I. This was the equation yang kita introduce dekat sini after this derivation. Okay, ambil flux ini, substitute dekat dalam sini, you will get N mu naught Nia over L. And then kembangkan, kita akan dapat mu naught N square area bahagi dengan length. This is the self-inductance untuk solenoid. Tak hafal pun tak ada masalah as long as you know this one and then you substitute what is your flux is for solenoid. Okay, lepas tu kita boleh dapat self-inductance untuk solenoid. However, bila untuk coil pula, the self-inductance for a coil, the magnetic flux density at the center of the coil is given as B is equals to mu naught N I over 2R. Okay, ini adalah untuk coil and kita cakap for number of turn in a coil. Kita ada banyak pusingan di dalam satu biji coil itu. Okay, so the magnetic flux passing through each turn of the coil is always maximum and it is given as by. So dalam kes ini kita ambil yang paling maksimum lah. Flux is equals to BA cos 0. So and then kamu substitute your B dekat dalam equation ini, kamu akan dapat mu naught Ni over 2R. Kalau kamu compare dekat sini dengan sini, sama sahaja, yang bezanya adalah ini bahagi dengan length of the solenoid, ini bahagi dengan 2R, iaitu jarak daripada coil itu ke center dia, which is the radius. Dan darab 2 dekat sini. Therefore self-inductance of a coil pula, kita guna equation yang sama yang kita derive tadi, N flux over I. You masukkan flux untuk coil and then you expand, you will end up with, for coil, mu naught N square A over 2R. So kalau tengok dua-dua dekat sini pun sama, mu naught N square A. Ini bahagi dengan length of the solenoid, ini bahagi dengan 2R. Itu sahaja untuk self-inductance. Yang penting you have to understand how does the process of self-induction occur. Process of self-induction adalah yang inilah, daripada sini sampailah ke sini. Ini adalah process of self-induction. How do you produce the EMF? What is the direction of induced EMF? Itu semua awak akan dapat daripada process of self-induction. And then to measure them, kita panggil dia self-inductance. Okay, simbol L kita guna to represent self-inductance, iaitu ratio of the EMF yang kita induce to the rate change of the current in the coil.